I am quite selective, to be honest with you. So I don't just speak to every single person that I know. I roughly know what each individual is doing. And then I know that, okay, this fella is building some form of community. I see it, but I don't know whether this person realizes that he or she is building community. Let me just reach out and have a chat with this person and see if he or she is willing to come and chat with me. Yeah, so that's really what it is. Most of the time, right, all these people that I've spoken to, they don't even know they're building community, right? They think that, oh yeah, I'm building my sales funnel, I'm just increasing my referral rate and whatever. But the crux of it all is this is community building, and you are doing something that is relevant to the business. And once you acknowledge what it is you're doing, you will be able to perhaps do better, because if you relate it to what community building is, and if you follow these other steps that you could possibly be doing to help build more community, then it's called one step leads on to the other line. Actually helps with the business. Yeah. So that's how we will roll with this series. And maybe we can start by you just sharing a little bit more about what is the business that you do and how did you come about doing what you're doing.
Cool. So a little bit about me. My name is Lex. I'm a personal trainer. I am running my own company. I'm trying to grow my company in a sense that I want to be able to help the fitness industry, not just in the sense of being able to reach out to a lot of people, but passing on relevant information to trainers and also trainees or clients alike, because I do see a huge gap in scientific knowledge, evidence-based approach versus what's actually happening in gyms, in group classes.
And what is the name of your business setup, or is it just Lex Personal Training?
So my business name is actually Lex Fitness System. I have a website that's movewithlex.com.
Okay.
So I put some stuff up there.
You mentioned that you are building a team, right? To be with the business. And do you think that by calling it Lex Fitness System and then by having a team of people under you, then does it sort of like undermine their name or their presence because they write under your Lex name, right?
Exactly. I would think of it as such a way. Lex Fitness System is a methodology I'm teaching people to do. They themselves are the main branch of it. When I hire people, once they are up to par and I feel like they are solid enough, I'll be helping them create their own branding as well. But their branding is partly owned by me as well. So I'm trying to, because one thing in the fitness industry is that I find a lot of bosses or owners try to hold on to all the profits and also all the branding and everything. But that doesn't inspire long-term working relationships. So from my perspective, if I am the one teaching them and I have built them out so far, I've given them all my knowledge, the knowledge that I spend money and time to learn, and I pass it on to them for free and at a faster rate. It doesn't make sense that I pass on the knowledge and it just goes away. It makes sense that they are with me for long term. And if I am able to help them build their own businesses into a boss, into their own business, that's what I think of as effective leadership.
And this is all put down on paper, black and white, is it? They sign that.
So when they start when they start off with me, it's really just as an intern and also to learn how to train. As they grow their business, I really spoke to them clearly that I want them to be able to own their own business and be their own thought leaders. A lot of times, I find a lot of systems or a lot of businesses, they tend to say, look, this is my system, take it or leave it, follow it to the T. But I personally feel that is quite short-sighted because it creates groupthink. People are not able to creatively think about different solutions. The reason, for me, I find the reason why I'm good at what I do is because I take different disciplines, different methodologies, and I mix them together so that I can understand how this problem comes about. So, for example, in the typical, say, rehab setting, you will say, oh, this is a acute stage rehab, so you got to do X, Y, Z until then, for how many weeks, then you go on. But some people are different, right? Some people can recover faster. Some people adapt to training better as well. So it doesn't make sense that it's like that. And then like you will probably hear some people say, oh, this physio is not good, this physio is good, because in XYZ weeks, he helps me get there. But what's the difference? The difference is different methodologies. Like there's many ways to skin a cat. Why do we only stick to one? So my point of view is that anyone that comes with me to work with me, or even if they stay long enough and they get good enough, they have to become a partner. I won't want them to be under me all the time. I want them to be equal. My opinion on leadership or in business is that my role as an owner or as a leader is to make other leaders and make them better than I am. If they are better than I am, I have done my job.
Right, right. That's a great way of positioning how you are growing the business, right? And so essentially what they are doing is, or what you are doing is, you coach them or train them in the Lex fitness training methodology, and you identify what they are good at, because everybody is different, right? You can't possibly create a photocopy of who you are, and then you identify what they're good at, and then you train them and you prepare them to be their own boss. Right. Typically, what would be a good, runway for something like for a success story, like? And I believe you've been doing this for 1 year or a bit less than that.
I've been for about a year.
Okay.
Before that, I've been working with different companies and as freelancers as well as a personal trainer for the past 7 years.
Okay.
So
Okay.
7 years of experience and mistakes and hit banging on walls led me to think about what would be an ideal growth path for a trainer. I personally feel that to be a good trainer, you at least need 2 years of proper ground experience. First 6 months, really intense shadowing and learning the methodology of a senior trainer. Next 6 months to find out what is it you really like. In my personal opinion, I think personal training can be divided into 3 main subcategories. You have your typical aesthetics, how you look, right? Then you have your sports performance. How well can a person perform based on their sport, be it rugby, basketball, powerlifting, Olympic lifting. Then you have your last one, which is more rehab or prehab based, which is empowering people to move better. Right. But the majority of the trainers all fall under the physics base because they think that looking good is awesome. But things like, for example, I can guarantee you most trainers, they do not take things like blood pressure. Ask them what's HRV, they can't explain what's HRV and what impact it has. HRV is basically heart rate variability. It basically measures, it gives a good measure of what we call a parasympathetic and sympathetic tone. So how stressed out you are, how well recovered you are, and it's still balance as well. Most trainers won't understand that. If you even ask them what is the factors that induces hypertrophy, they will just lift heavier weights, lift more reps, but they won't be able to explain all that. So what I'm trying to say is that these 3 main categories allows each trainer to be unique because you would have different methodologies to handle all 3 different systems. However, you should be specialized in one, pretty good at the other, and you know something about the last.
Okay.
So if you can do that, you should be able to handle every single client, but you still have your unique system that's based on what you prefer to do and what you're knowledgeable to do and what you're interested to learn more about.
And it took you 7 years to come up with all of this.
No, it took me 7 years to bang the wall until I realized this is how it should be done.
Well, never too late, right? You're finally out here doing your own thing. And I mean, I believe, spoke to you when you were still employed with your previous company. So I'm happy to see that you are smashing it and doing well, right? So today's conversation is about community building. Maybe you can share a bit more about what is your understanding of community building.
Okay, I think community building, you can look at it from 2 different perspectives. 1, the community itself. 2, your interaction with different people. Right. So the first one is a whole group of people coming together. That would be more for group classes. So client A and client B, they have not met before. They come together for the group classes, through interactions in the group classes and or external activities, they become friends. And that's how you build community, and that's why people want to come back. And that's one of the pros of group training is that you feel motivated, you feel accountable to one another, and you want to go for it. And that's, I think, part of the success story of CrossFit or F45 because of community built. everyone helps one another, everyone challenges one another, everyone cares one another. The other part of community building is based on your individual as a trainer or as a solo trainer. So for example, for me as a personal trainer, my community is me to my clients. How well do I manage them? What kind of relationship I have with them individually? All right. There can be chances where they have cross references and or they become friends because say client A starts at 5:30, client B starts at 6:30. Sometimes they bump into each other, they have a chat, they see each other suffering together, they feel a sense of camaraderie. But I think in the second form, most of the time it should be based kind of like almost like a CRM kind of form. Things like important dates that you remember, things like birthdays, training anniversaries, special dates, or get involved or be interested in their lives and their family. And that's how
So
you
it's
can build
the
relationships.
relationship that you build and the relationship that you keep with each individual client,
Yes.
which is the community building aspect lah.
That's more for the personal training side of the business.
Correct. Yeah.
Well,
And
two classes to be different.
but for you, primarily is personal training, right? It's not so much group classes lah. Okay,
I do
and
have some.
you have
Mini.
some? Okay, okay. And would you say that, you know, from beginning days already, in your early days as a personal trainer, you realize this, or at which point in your career as a personal trainer did you realize that, hey, you know, there's this aspect of relationship building as a personal trainer that I need to do for to build my community?
I think subconsciously at the start, it happened without me thinking about it because I felt that that was the way I interact with everyone. I believe in being congruent to who I am. Professionally and personally, in personal life, it should always be the same. So if I'm friendly to friends and I see them, like see my clients for say 3 times a week, I see them more than some of my friends. I should therefore have a relationship with them. If not, it gets really weird, right? All right, we're gonna go 5 sets of 10 squats. Let's go. that feels weird, right? Okay, good job, well done. Let's go to the next one. In between sets, I mean, if you want to have good client retention, if your client likes you, it makes it a lot easier for them to come back to you. Right? And that was me doing it subconsciously. But as I start my own business, I realized how important it was, especially transiting from an employed personnel to my own company. How did my clients follow me or come with me is because of the relationship I have. And that's when I really realized that it's very important to remember things like that. Even small things like, for example, on Christmas, just buy them a small gift. It doesn't have to cost much. Something that means something to them. If you can get that, they can see your effort and your care. Why would they not come back to you?
True, true. And what would you say? So you mentioned that it comes very subconsciously to you, right? But if you had to break it down into points, right, for somebody to know and to remember, it's like, so what is it that you need to do? Don't say do. What is it that you need to possess subconsciously to be able to build that good relationship?
I think in a way it's easy to think about it in such a way. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Okay, okay.
So fundamentally, your interactions with them should come from a place of care and concern. It shouldn't come from a place of I got more clients means I got more money. When you're doing that, you are a bit fake per se, and people can see it. Be genuine in your approach. If you are genuine, people genuinely like people who are genuine. Can you imagine if the first day I met you, I put on this persona that I am this hotshot trainer? That will bring the conversation very differently. And I think most importantly, it's really, really understanding what makes them tick. For example, if you're talking to a young man who is single, he is training because he had an injury and he wants to look good so that he can attract a mate, a spouse, right? The way you talk to him versus the way you talk to, say, a married man with an infant or a young child be very different. With the young guy, you can probably talk about night sports, activities they can do. The married man is more like, we're doing this so that you can have more time with your family. We make sure that you can be there for your kid for a longer term, and or just showing interest in their their family, like small things like kid's birthday. Hi, hey, it's your kid's birthday, right? Here's something small from me to them. I think that's very important. So, in short, I think we have 3 points. First point is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Second thing is to be genuine.
mm,
Third thing is really to have a wide range of knowledge that you can
mm,
talk to anyone.
I like that wide range of knowledge. Yeah.
Yes. For lack of better word in Chinese, it's 见人讲人话，见鬼讲鬼话.
Yeah, so it's like, you don't know anything about stock market, but you know your client is a trader. You go and do a little bit of research. You can also ask question, right? You will say that, I read about this. Can you tell me about that? So at least there's some point of interest, right? So it's taking an interest in the client's, whether it's personal life or career or job, and having that topics of commonality, right? That's a very, very good point that you raised, right? And I think maybe one more thing is also probably to be intuitive, right? You need to be a little bit more intuitive. And listening, right? You need to know, because if you don't listen, you don't know, right? Sometimes the client maybe might be complaining to you about his mother, always nagging at him, whatever. But if you don't listen, that he keeps complaining about a certain thing, right? And then, but if you listen, right, maybe one fine day you present him with a book to say how to deal with my mother or whatever, right? So then he will like, hey, yeah, so all this while that I've been talking cock, you have been listening to me, so that's something that, okay, yeah, very, very on point and good, that I will definitely put in the article, right? And would you say that these are things that you would also pass on to your trainees, the people that you're coaching?
Yes, of course. In fact, I have a few guidelines for them in terms of interacting with clients. Be it first clients, training with you for a while, long-term clients, how you should deal with them, and certain things you should remember. So, for example, I tell the people I hire or the people I coach is that in the first session you have to create magic points, things that make them go, wow, you are really different from other traders. So, for example, let's say if a client comes to you with hunch shoulders, tight traps, how do you have a quick fix? Because you show that you demonstrate that you understand where they're coming from, you understand their lifestyle, what caused this, then you show you a quick fix that you can do on your own. So it's kind of like creating value without expecting anything in return. If you can create value without expecting anything in return, the client will be impressed with you, because most trainers or most people want returns from value. If you can give them some bite-sized nuggets for them to do on their own, and they will still see progress, that's it. If you can do that, that will set you apart from the other trainers and or different people in the industry, creating value without expecting return first. And then from there, because they know you get this value for free, your worth or your knowledge is much higher than the common standard. And that's why they will come back to you and back to you again and again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And would you happen to have any, so you mentioned you had a lot of roadblocks along the way and you learned your lesson as you went along, right? So any like challenges or disaster stories, that actually help you get to the point that you are at right now?
Yes. I have a few actually. I think the most important one is to find a good mentor. Because a lot of people have, how to do this? It's kind of like, like some people are like peacocks, they show a lot, but they actually don't have much substance. If you find a mentor like that, you're screwed. Because they will not teach you everything, they just show all the fluff, but they will not show you the deeper things, what it means to be there. So find the right mentor, that's number one. Number two is don't be too over enthusiastic. It's something what I call the 80-20 rule. So when you're at work or with any clients, always show only 80% of what you can actually do. 20% comes in only when there's something that comes to a shop. For example, let's say as a trainer, if every time your client calls you, hey, Lex, I want to change my training. Sure, no problem. You can change it at any time you want. Or you go, I'm sorry, this timing is booked already. I don't have this timing. How about another thing else? So they learn to respect you as an individual as your time as well. And then when really something happens, let's say for example, they lost their job or they have an emergency meeting, they appreciate what you do for them. That becomes an added value to them as well. And I think the most important thing is when I was starting out as a trainer, I was a lot let's just put it, I was a lot more in shape. I was a lot more shredded. And that made me have this mindset that, look, if I can do it, if my figure is like that, I'm a good trainer. But that quickly showed me the door for, I actually lost a few of my first few clients because my mindset was, I am very fit, I can do it, I'm going to make sure you can do it. But I'm not listening to the client in terms of what they want. So let's say a client comes to me and say, look, I just want to, be healthier, I don't need to have six pack, but I push them hard. Oh, you're going to have six pack, or you're going to have a 200 kilo squat. That's not what the client wants. If you enforce your own training goals onto your clients, why would your clients stay with them? Because you're not listening at all. Yeah, I think those are the three main things that I bang my head on the most, especially as a young trainer.
Very, very good tip pointers. And what about success stories, right? From you mentioned that, when you left your previous place, people actually followed you. So these are, I guess, the success stories. But any, one or two really stand outish kind of success stories that you can share on how building the relationship and building that trust, right, actually help you improve or increase the business, from a community building point of view.
Okay, so I do some youth training. So out of the youth training, the kid come to me because they had growing pains and some chronic issues. So the dad brought her to me, and just by training her right, her mom and her dad became interested and became my clients as well. And it got to the point that even during special occasions, like things like my birthday or whatever, they remember me because we are friends. They actually, buy stuff for me, or have. It's more than just a client relationship. It's not like, hi, I'm here because you are paying me, but it's more like, hi, we are here because we like each other, and I want to help you grow, and vice versa. And from that one client, I got referred to many more clients as well.
From that same pool of father, mother, daughter.
It just started from one kid. From one kid became two kids. From two kids became four, including their parents. From that, it grew from referrals. And the main thing why they referred me to other people was because I was good at what I do. I listened and I really cared. That's one. Others, like for example, I have a client who came to me because he couldn't get off a chair without having pain in the knees. Just by helping him, he referred to me his wife, his father-in-law. It's gotten to the point that his kids are happy to see me. And just by having that kind of relationship, it helps me in terms of referrals, and also I know for a fact that this client will never leave me. And it's really by relationship. I think there's a difference between a need and a desire. So I think as a good trainer, my role is to make sure I become obsolete to my clients. They know what to do on their own, but they want to train with me because they want the extra age or just the time spent with each other. So much easier to keep a client than to find a new client.
And do you think that, when will you stop growing the community? Is there ever a need to stop, or is there ever a need to, because there will come a point in time where you will not be able to take in any more people, right? So then at that point you will need to stop building the community, right? Or, how then do you decide?
That's when you are able to expand and hire people. So for trainers who are starting out or any businesses, I think the community is the lifeblood of it. If you can grow your community organically without having to pay for advertisements, that's the most important. If you can do that, and it grows well, and it grows consistently by a certain percentage, why do you need to spend money on marketing? You can hire people, you can make sure they're up to par before passing on their clients. I think having a community that's too big for you to handle, it's a good problem to have. Because that problem is easily solved by hiring and training.
True. And what about engagement? So yes, you meet your clients during that 1 hour that you are in contact with them. At the same time, if you train the entire family, I guess you have a couple of more touch points, right, to engage with them. But what about a website, blog, your social media channels or whatever? Is that how do you engage the community?
To be fair, I have not done too much on it, to be fair. But I do recognize the need to do that, especially as I'm trying to grow my own team. So right now I'm trying to reach out a little bit more on LinkedIn, trying to write a bit more posts, articles, reach out to different people, communicate with people on LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is a resource that a lot of people are not using. From what I hear from a lot of people, they come either into one of two camps. Number one, so many people are doing it already. I'm not sure if it's the right time for me to go in. Same camp, I don't know how to do it. It seems very complicated. Why should I start? I think it's a huge market that's left untouched, untapped, because LinkedIn, you are able to, from a ideal client perspective, you are able to filter out people that fit into your clientele. So for example, for me, most of my clientele fall under mid-management to C-level suites. How are you going to be able to reach out to them on a normal day-to-day basis? Unless it's through referrals, but there's going to be a limit of how much referrals can you get. So for example, especially as I'm trying to grow my team and business, for me to sustain myself in terms of business flow, no problem. But if I want to grow a team of 5, at the rate that currently referrals and leads are coming in, it's not enough. So how do I expedite that process? Especially if that is the kind of client that I want to target and or to grow.
So would you say that community, does it only mean it's your clients, or is community also your potential clients?
I think you cannot look at it from just client, potential client. I think you need to look at it from a bigger perspective. It should be kind of 3-tiered. The first tier, the closest tier, the most important tier, is the people that you're already currently servicing with a good relationship. Second, there are kind of new clients that you are kind of getting to know them, trying to find out what makes them tick, how do you communicate with them. It's kind of like, in terms of a date, if you're trying to woo a potential partner, ideally the first tier is where you want to be happily married. But before that, you have the wooing stage and the dating phase and then the marriage phase. Kind of similar to right? So people who could potentially be in a community are not people you should not reach out to. These are the people you should still reach out to, but you shouldn't put all your effort there. The effort you should be putting is in the first tier and the second tier, more so on the first tier. So because these are the ones who will be your best advertisements.
And I think that this is probably one of the I won't say failures, one of the mistakes that some people make, because they keep focusing on getting new people in and they neglect the existing ones. I guess in a way you can call them the low-hanging fruits, right? Because they are there anyway. So you neglect these people, and then these people in the end don't refer, or worse still, they leave, right? But for these people, they keep thinking, oh, I need to get more, I need to build the pipeline, I need to have more people, because with every 100 people that come in, 10% are going to convert, right? So then if I don't hit that 100, I'm not going to get the extra 10, without realizing that, that 10 within your pocket might actually just be flowing away.
Yes, like it's kind of like trying to get a lot of leads, but the conversion is really low. For me, so far, I don't get a lot of leads, but every single lead, I have almost a 70 to 80% conversion rate. And in terms of
these are the leads that are coming through from referral, not so much from other channels, right?
Referrals is almost 100%.
Oh, okay.
So it makes much more sense for me, rather than trying to spend thousands of dollars trying to get out to 100 leads a day and then booking like maybe 10 calls, and out of 10 calls, only one come down with a free trial, one coming with a free trial, 7 days a week, only 2 convert. Or rather, every month I have like 4 leads, I convert 3.
I think it's also because you know what you're good at doing, and you're very focused in that sense, so you know your niche, you know what you're good at doing, you are able to you have that confidence, right, that whoever who comes in or whoever gets referred in, you'll be able to convert them.
Which is why I think, when people look at community building, the first thing I think they should focus on is really their skill sets. If you're good at what you do, you don't need to work that hard. If you're good at what you do, your work will speak for you. Like, rather than posting on Instagram showing off your 6-pack every day, or lifting heavy weights, or trying to show that you're really ripped and shredded and make yourself miserable in the process. If you're really good at what you do, people will come to you and they will willingly pay you. You don't tell them, I am worth this much. Can you pay this much? You just go, this is how much I'm worth. Thank you very much. The end.
And I mean, since you started on your own, right? Have you increased your pricing along the way, or has it been quite fixed and
For
consistent?
my existing clients, like I said from at the start, I feel like this is no longer a business; it's a calling. So my existing client, I don't increase the rates; it's the same.
What are you charging? 140, 150?
For my existing client, 140. For new clients, it's 160. So there has to be, I feel for myself, there has to be a reward for loyalty. And if I do this as a calling rather than as just a way for me to make a quick buck, why should I be so focused on increasing rates? In fact, some of my clients, some of the kids clients that I train, I still keep them at a very low rate. Rental at CC is not cheap. I still charge them $5 per hour per session.
65, so cheap.
75
Wow.
for SC clients who have been training me for a while, because those are the ones who actually get me a lot of referrals and business along the way. And I like the kids in a non-creepy way, disclaimer. I like the kids and I want to help them grow, and I want to see them grow up as well. So to me, it's giving back to the community.
And these kids are not involved in any like competitive sports or whatever. They're just normal kids.
One of their goal is to be a professional soccer player. So he's 13 right now. He actually goes for soccer camps back in like some semi-pro club back in UK every summer.
Oh, Amor, so got money one this kind of client.
But yeah, they have money, and to me I don't mind, because if I do a good job with him, all his friends around him will see, their parents will talk. So why do I need to ramp up the rates? Because from him I might get much more just by doing a good job and being nice to him.
So do you go out of your way, like you go and watch him play in his football competition or whatever? Do you do things like that?
What I do are things like, for example, when he says things like he is interested in certain stuff, I will introduce him to deeper level of thoughts or get him a gift here and there. Like he wanted to be better at skipping. It really costs you nothing, like something like that. Buy him a skipping rope, a good skipping rope, cost you what, maybe $20. Give to him. But he will come back so much more. Or for example, he say he's interested in trading. I share with him like the reason why I started trading was because of Dragon Ball. Here, I have a book, take a read. Maybe you understand why I say that. Take a read. It's really awesome. Then if you want to read more, here's an online page. You can read more on Dragon Ball. Here you go. Things like that. It makes it really interesting for him, and he just feels like, oh, this is more than that. And like I feel as a coach, as a trainer, especially with young children, your role is not just to make them tired or get them stronger, but it's really to become a role model, a guide post, a mentor along the way. So things like, for example, how to deal with people, etc. These are things I try to put in the session as well, and their parents can see the difference, and their parents are happy. And by that, because they can see that I really care for him, I want him to grow in not just physical fitness, like every area, it becomes so much easier for me to just maintain the relationship.
Wow, very good, very powerful, very good. You should go and be a teacher.
I want to but then not much money in it. So
yeah, I think you're definitely earning more as a personal trainer than a teacher, unless maybe you teach in an international school. But I think also personal trainer is more flexibility and better for you.
I think if I work in international school, I'll end up bringing a lot of the cares and concerns of the kids home.
Yeah, which might not be a good thing, right? Too much empathy also no good, huh?
Yeah, my focus is more about rather than kids.
Talking about empathy, I guess, would you say how important do you think is empathy, as a personal trainer, as a coach? Empathy.
It's the most important. It's the most important. I find, unfortunately, in the fitness industry, there's a lot of people who want to be alpha males, or who pose as alpha males.
Who pose as what?
They like alpha males pose. So they kind of want to be like the big dog in the gym.
Right.
But don't realize that it's not how it is done. Like the typical alpha male in the gym would be maybe huge arms, walk around, talk in a deep voice, and then just push their weight around and just be a jackass sometimes. But in my opinion, if you want to be an alpha male, you want to be a leader, right? A leader is by influence. It's not by your size, nor the weights you lift, nor your position. It's about how you talk to people, how you inspire or influence them to be better.
Mm.
If you can do that, then you are an alpha male by choice.
Mm.
No, you don't have to, like, you won't go around telling everybody, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man. You only do that when you're confident of yourself. If you are really an alpha, you'll go, I'm an alpha. You'll be just like, hi guys, this is how we're gonna do things. Let's get it done. Let's go. That's it. But that's something that happens in the gym a lot. And unfortunately, it gets passed on as being an alpha male. And I think that doesn't help the client, because a lot of the times the client, because of this kind of interactions, they try to push themselves way too hard. They get themselves injured, particularly knees, lower back, ankles, shoulders, because of, I'm going to be a big dog, I'm going to lift heavy weights, I'm going to be awesome. It's not. You got to earn the right to do all that. And if you are really an alpha, you don't have to say it. Just, I am who I am. Take it or leave it. Yeah.
Well said, well said. Yeah, and we're coming to the end of the session already. Maybe we can end off by, you sharing to anyone out there wanting to come out on his own, whether it's personal training, group class instructor, I don't know, sports masseuse, anything lah. As long as you're a self-starter solopreneur, what are some tips or blind spots that you would advise on so that they could have a less bumpy ride when they start to build community? Yeah.
First thing first, find someone you want to emulate. You got to find like a community that you want. Let's say, for example, if I see Alex's community is really nice, I want to have that kind of community. How does he build it? What does he does? How does he talk? I'll try to emulate it and then change it according to my own personality. That's number one. Number two is be confident of yourself, but not too confident. So for example, as a trainer, I can't think that I'm the best trainer on the floor, that nobody has anything that they can learn, that I can learn from. Always learn from other people. I think part of maturity is kind of like eating fish. When you eat fish, when you're young, someone picked the meat off for you. As you grow older, you learn to pick the bones out. Similarly, you can learn from everyone in certain areas. If you don't agree with it, you don't have to tell the person off. You can just thank you for sharing, move on. And that's the best way to build community and leadership as well. Because people will feel that you know and you care and you listen. If you can do that, that's huge. That is enormous with your clients and with your co-workers in the same space or even in the industry. Last one, I think the most important is small things matter. It's the details. Greatness lies in details. So for example, birthdays. I cannot stress enough how important are birthdays, how important are training anniversaries, or like Valentine's Day or like Christmas. These things that matters to your clients, do something small for them. Or Valentine's Day for the, of course, draw your boundaries. Don't let personal relationship cross over. So for example, if you have clients who are single, ladies, on Valentine's Day, be nice. Buy a small piece of chocolate. Here's a Valentine's Day gift for you. I thank you for training me so far. I really appreciate you. And this is a small gift. Don't worry about it. If you feel like it's gonna be bad for your diet or your waistline, push yourself harder in the gym. Woo-hoo, let's go. Things like that makes a huge difference. Or like the clients just have a new kid. Is there anything I can do for you? Can I get you something small? This is what you want. Here you go. Thank you very much for training me. And take your time. Do whatever you need to do first. Family comes first, and not go on like my services or this is what is important. You need to do it. Have more empathy and just let it go.
Very good. Wow, very helpful. Yeah, and with that, we've come to the end of the session. And as with all sessions, I always like to take a screenshot.
Sure.
Right, so let me put my phone. So I'm going to raise I normally raise my one hand so that it's like waving, right? Yeah, so we can, and then look at the screen and 1, 2, 3. Okay, let me check whether it's good or not. Any thanks for your time, Lex. Yeah,
I'm more than willing to help, and like I said, I'm honored that you thought of me and asked me.
No, it's good. I mean, for people